An open and regulated global payment internet network will pass through account addressing and tokenized compliance to all existing new regulated payment networks. I want to restate that. God bless Sean, right? I'm glad to have him on the show yesterday. He mentioned that he didn't feel as though that, and maybe we'll talk about this more next Monday. Maybe this will be like the start of a good conversation, because I would love to hear what he has to state about this. We'll reflect back on this. But Sean mentioned specifically that he didn't feel as though that the likes of Ripple would do all the payments, right? He made a very good case, right? He was talking about Cypherium. They have their mainnet out. You have the whole thing with the FedNow payments. Their mainnet's there, but doesn't necessarily mean that FedNow payments would, utilize that, right? It's kind of like, I'm gonna put layman's terms. You drive down the street, nothing is open. You're thirsty. You need gas. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. You're at some new town you've never been to. You pull in. You got all these different options for gas, right? You got a BP station. You got Chevron. You got Mobile. You got God knows whatever else, right? You got, for instance, Arco, right? They got an AM PM, all right, and this other station might be a Shell station, has like a Quick Trip or Circle K, whatever the case be, right? They're all convenience stores. Well, you have all these options, but which one do you choose, right? And a lot of these have similar use cases, right? Convenience stores, gas, so on, right? Well, you got to look at least the way I gather it is, when it comes to Cypherium, their mainnet is done. So they're sitting there. These need to be utilized, right? Not saying they won't be utilized. But when you see statements like this, it makes you kind of back up for a moment, because what is listed here? All existing and new regulated payment networks. So again, I'm going to read this again. An open and regulated global payment internet network will pass through account addressing and tokenized compliance to all existing and new regulated payment networks. This is huge. The World Bank, Xrp Xlm Bank, Africa Nenda, Moja Loop Foundation, regional levels IPS, particularly applicable for economic unions, national level IPS required for every country. So we have the term all, we have the term every, all right? This is part of a thing called Project Nexus. You could research this more yourself. Maybe we take more of a deeper dive into it. I won't guarantee it. But here's the thing. If you're just tuning in, this is some of the hot, juicy stuff. Hit that like, subscribe to us. You'll be glad you did. Look who's mentioned here. You have Visa, Ripple, Stellar, Celo. By the way, Celo, shout out to some of you guys that understand the QFS, like Menelect, right? What is part of the QFS, the quantum financial system? What is one of the 20/token/coins part of the QFS? It's Celo. It's very interesting. I need to take more of a deeper dive into Celo. This whole thing that we see here makes me want to research Celo that much more. Now, of course, there's the likes of Swift, MasterCard, so on. But this is really significant. Why is this so significant? Well, let's break it down. So, again, shout to Mike for the sideline reporting. It says Visa seems working silently with Ripple. Working silently with Ripple. Here's the thing. We already had that particular connection established. I think it was roughly about a month ago. There was something that broke out about Visa working with Ripple, right? And this is where we made that particular statement of this is really, really significant, because for the longest time, we used to always make that particular claim that, Visa is, for instance, always, or not Visa, Ripple's focused, for instance, on the bank-to-bank payments and so on, right? They're not focused on retail. But when you see this, then you think to yourself, well, doesn't this kind of change things to a sense? Just hear me out. If you have the likes of XLM, Stellar, being the peer-to-peer payment, which makes sense, or the future, cryptocurrency of the world is, which I believe, right, for retail money. I'm going with that 100%, and I'm going to stick to that. But now, when people state, well, these guys aren't competing with each other, right? It does kind of make you wonder if that might not be the case anymore. Just hear me out, right? I think for the most part, that is still valid, but let's jump into this. So how can, for instance, XRP benefit in the long run by working silently with Visa? So it states the top financial services provider Visa appears to be cunningly adopting Ripple's cross-border payment technology, RippleNet, for its business. I want to state this real quick, right? If you looked more into it, Visa, technically speaking, as far as transactions per second, the only blockchain that comes close to having faster, if not maybe possibly faster TPS than just straight up what Visa has to offer is HBAR, right? With Hedera's hash graph, right? But hear this real quick. It says, while there have been no official partnership between Ripple and Visa at the time of writing, the Web2 payment giant has made it a norm to acquire several top partners of Ripple. Why would they want to be doing that? Why would they want to acquire several top partners of Ripple if they didn't have a broader understanding that this whole thing about us focusing on the likes of SEC lawsuit and so on, Visa has already prepared to move on from that because they look at it from the perspective of what these partners are not necessarily all in the United States, right? Absolutely. So it says, for instance, that Ripple, as we know, is a cross-border payment firm headquartered in San Francisco. The company adopts XRP Ledger native currency to facilitate its cross-border payment / cross overseas payments for individuals as well as financial institutions. But what I want to show you guys here is Visa, on the other hand, acquired about 4 Ripple partners within the last 6 years. Why would they do that? Well, again, I think personally, just my opinion, it's because they realize what kind of technology they have, how they've been innovative, to say the least. Now, look at this. It says, notably, Ripple announced a global partnership with Earthport in December 2014. In December 2018, Visa outbidded MasterCard to buy Earthport for $250 million. That's $250 million. Fast forward to March to 2020, D-Money, a Thailand-based fintech company, partnering with Ripple to power faster and cheaper cross-border money transfers. At the end of the day, I think the missing link to all this is what? Ripple's on-demand liquidity and Ripple's technology in itself, right? Think about this. If you're a central bank, I know I said this so many times, but it's still valid. Again, draw the connection. If you were a central bank and you were not all gung-ho about doing cross-border or even overseas payments because you're going to get hit with a $60 billion fee, I think that was the last we checked, $60 billion fee off of $10 trillion. This is why a lot of the money hasn't moved quite often, right? If you look it up for yourself, when it comes to, countries moving money, it's just not a very popular thing because these banks get hit with too big of fees. Now, if you combine that with Visa having a broader understanding that they're going to do what? They're going to leverage RippleNet technology for its business because of what? It's a lot cheaper, like it mentions up here, more faster and cheaper for cross-border money transfers. It all makes sense. They have already researched this. They already understand the broader picture and so on. And they understand that, yes, they have a fast TPS. I think it's like 25,000 and so on. But they also understand that it's not just about the speed. It's about the security. And if anything, is also understanding that Ripple can take away a lot of these unnecessary fees with their particular technology, where on the other hand, just traditional Visa by itself won't get that done. That's the missing link, in my humble opinion. Now, look at this. It says, these instances have compelled several people, including the pseudonymous user, to claim that Visa could be working with Ripple discreetly. Quote, Visa is just following footsteps behind Ripple. He added that Visa is silently working with Ripple, and this could take the XRP price to $100 in the future. Now, let's face it. I mean, these are milestones, right? We talk about, for instance, the SEC thing going away. A big win for the likes of Ripple. It's a big win for crypto. Let's be honest, right? Not just here in the United States. And that's why a lot of people feel as though that we could get to at least $10 per XRP. Okay. A lot of you guys got to get a lot higher than that. To me personally, this is lowballing it at $100 in the future. I mean, I have XRP well over 10 grand in future. And I have my own personal milestones, like my own personal milestone for Ripple's XRP. This is why I feel as though you got to have multiple bags of this, not financial advice. But my big milestone is 1,200, and then my next biggest milestone is 10 grand. Honestly, after that, it's just all gravy from there. We're going to play this. It's a short particular clip. Yeah, it's about 2 minutes. I know this is kind of getting really extended, so much for the 5 minutes in, 5 minutes out. Guys, this is important that we pay attention to this stuff because it gives you a broader perspective of what the heck is really going on out there and why we're so bullish on the likes of XRP. This is a perfect example. And, if you haven't done so already, give Mike Cornwell props, give him the dab. I mean, because he's killing it when it comes to his particular research and what he gathers. He wants to see the show do well and so on. You could do the same, and I welcome it. I mean, I might not take everything that everybody brings to me and, throw it into the show, but this was definitely worth sharing. This is 2 minutes and 14 seconds, guys and gals. Let's get into it. We'll come back and then we'll kick it back in the comments. We do have more Ripple XRP news for you, as well as HBAR and some others. Let's go ahead and get into it.
Visa is just following the footsteps behind Ripple. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by that. We're going to go start from 2014 and we're going to come all the way to 2022 because this is how long it's been going on for. 2014, Ripple Labs and Earthport announced global partnership. That is absolutely crazy. Years down the road, Visa acquired Ripple partner Earthport for $250 million. Why? And keep in mind that Visa actually outbidded MasterCard in this. There was a battle between Visa and MasterCard to acquire Earthport. Why? Ask yourself. It's going to get much, much better. D-Money partners with Ripple to power faster and cheaper cross-border money transfers. For the second phase of implementation, D-Money will leverage RippleNet to facilitate outbound transfers from Thailand and determine the best partner in destination countries for payouts. So right now, what they're doing is only inbound. Okay, but folks, D-Money pairs up with Visa to empower near real-time cross-border payment. Currency Cloud announces partnership with Ripple to process cross-border payments on RippleNet. Where do you guys think I'm going with this? Go ahead and smash that like button if you already know. Visa acquired Currency Cloud. A year later, they partnered up with Ripple. So, ladies and gentlemen, from what we're seeing here, Ripple goes in, Visa acquires it. Why? Because it's the foundation. They're going to create revenue off of this. Folks, you already know where I'm going to go with this, right? Novati taps ODL to improve Australian remittance payments to Southeast Asia. Novati launches new payment platform for purpose-issued Visa cards.
I wonder, though, will some technology challenge emerge? Maybe down the road via blockchain or something, but
it's quite possible.
Yeah.
My expectation is that Visa, being the powerhouse it is going to be a wonderful partner for anybody who has an idea for a payment solutions system through blockchain.
All right, so there you have it. We have more in regards to Ripple's XRP and so on. Glad to share that with you guys. Again, thanks to Mike Cornwell for sharing that.
Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you have not yet subscribed, do yourself a favor and subscribe for more information on the ISO 222 compliant tokens, and hit the notification bell to make sure that you are aware of the new videos when they come up. Max and I cover these ISOs, and we also have a live show every single night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you tune in for that. You won't want to miss it. Thanks again, and we will see you on the next video.